to tie you up the Rabbit Muddler. Now there's one real nice ingredient in this pattern, and it's the rabbit. Rabbit undulates in the water, has a very lifelike action, and if you want to catch a number of different species, rabbit's the way to go. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we're going to use a Mustad 300 size 6. We'll tie with some UTC 140 black thread, some .03 lead wire for the weight. For the ribbing, we'll use a medium red wire, some silver Mylar tubing for the body, some red or white rabbit strips for the gills or side fins, some black rabbit strip for the wing, a few strands of Krystal flash for the overwing, and some flared Arctic caribou in black and natural color for the head. To start the fly off, before we even tie on our thread, we're going to take our .03 lead wire and we're going to wrap it in for the weight. And what I'm going to do is cover about 3/4 of the hook with the lead and only do one layer. After the lead's been wrapped in, I'm going to take some silver Mylar tubing. I'm going to slide it over the hook right to the back, and actually you form a little tail when it splays a little bit. I'm going to take my red wire and just wrap it right at the base, right where the lead was, and just keep wrapping it forward just so your wire gets wrapped off. Cut off your excess, and then what I'm going to do is take this wire, make sure I do some really strong pulls on it so it holds it at the back, and I'm going to wrap it forward and form about 5 or 6 ribs on the fly, and this is really going to enforce this fly so it doesn't get all torn apart. We're going to wrap it right up until it reaches the front of the fly by the lead and wrap that in. And cut off our excess Mylar. Now the body's tied in, I've actually tied on my black thread. I'm going to take some white rabbit strips. You can use red to imitate the gills, but I like the white for the color change. We're just going to put a set on both sides. So we'll put on the white rabbit strips on that side and make sure they're tied in good. And then I'll pull off some more, and I'm just pulling it right off the tag, and we'll tie it in on the other side. So you have 2 opposite sides of the rabbit. After you have the 2 gill plates or gill sides tied in, I'm going to take a strip of my black rabbit, and I'm just going to trim off a little bit off the head of the rabbit strip. And we're going to lay it on the hook. Make sure it's about almost double the length of the hook, if not a length and a half, and tie it in near the head. To create the overwing, I'm going to take about 5 or 6 strands of my green Krystal flash, and I'm just going to lay it directly over the rabbit, the black rabbit I tied in for the wing, and we're going to tie it in. And then what I'm going to do is go back and trim it up about the length of the rabbit. Now to finish the fly off, we're going to spin in ahead, and it's actually not spinning the hair so much, it's actually flaring it. And what I'm using is caribou. I'm using Arctic caribou, which is probably one of the best spinning hairs or flaring hairs you can use. So what we're going to do is take some black caribou, and I'm just going to lay it on one side of the hook and just wrap it loosely, and then get tighter, tight, and really tight. And I'm actually not spinning it on there, I'm just allowing it to flare. Then I'll take a little more and I'll do the same on the other side. Take some more caribou, put it on the other side, hold it nice and loosely, go around once loose, twice a little tighter, and 3 times I'm pulling very hard. And then what I'm going to do is push this material back, tie in front of it, and continue spinning hair on. And I'm going to use both materials. I'm actually going to spin on some black caribou, and I'm going to use the natural caribou, and I'm going to alternate between the two so I get a black and brown segmentation over my head as I tie up. So we'll just continue to tie in the brown and the black all the way up to create the head on the fly. Now that the head's finished, I'm going to whip finish off the fly. And once we do the whip finish, I'm then going to go back and trim the head. So what I'm going to do is take the fly out of the vise and start trimming the head to form a nice bullet head on this fly. And we'll take a large pair of scissors and start doing that. And I always like to trim the very bottom of the fly nice and flat, so that the hair sits nice and flat. And we'll trim it into a bullet head with a good pair of scissors. And there it is, the finished Rabbit Muddler. I mean, this pattern is a good Sculpin imitation, and you do want to fish it slow on the bottom, especially in rivers. But it is very effective in lakes also. And what makes it so good is the rabbit. Make sure you incorporate the rabbit wherever it's needed. Give this fly a try. I think you're going to like it.